Good morning dear students, welcome back. In this video we shall discuss about conservation of forests, then India wildlife, then conservation of wildlife. Dear students, in the previous videos we were discussing about various types of forests and we have discussed about the significance of forests. As we have discussed that forest plays very important role for our survival because it gives us oxygen. They provide soil with necessary humus and even they protect soil erosion. It also provides food and fodder for animals. It also provides timber and many other important products. So dear students, the latest reports of the National Remote Sensing Agency NRSA indicate that the country is losing about 1.3 million hectares of forest cover every year. What does it mean? It means our forest cover is year by year decreasing because of urbanization, because of modernization and setting up of industries. So this will be a detrimental for all of us, for mainly our national interest, if we lose the trees or the forest at the rate of 1.3 million hectare per year. So forest resources of India are facing a serious problems because this forest cover is destroyed by her own people. So the government of India has taken various programs to protect and conserve and developed our forest area. This is called a program of forest conservation. So the measures undertaken according to these programs of forest conservation include various research programs set by the government to study the disease of the trees and to prevent the disease of trees and to make the forest more productive and useful. So prevention of wildlife, as many species have become extinct and many are on the verge of extinction. So this is being done by promoting biosphere reserve forest so that we can preserve some of the species of animals and of trees which are at the verge of extinction. To protect both trees and species, several forest regions have been declared as reserve forest. So government has declared several forests as the reserve forest through which various types of trees could be preserved. For example, reserve forest in Rajasthan, Nilgiri, Cochin and Meghalaya. So these reserve forests are mainly meant to preserve our ecosystem. So under this biosphere reserve forest cover 400 lakh hectares, whereas protected area covers about 200 lakh hectares. Planting more trees for development of environmental forestry to maintain ecological balance. As per the programs of forest conservation, government gives emphasis on planting more trees. When we plant more trees, our environment would be green, would be clean, and thus the environment can maintain itself and there would be ecological balance. In various states and in union territories, forest department corporation has been established to take various types of for taking care of forest products and developing new forest resources. To protect the forest from forest fire is another great challenge, as we have seen in the news that forest fire in Amazon destroyed lakhs and lakhs of trees, and also forest fire of Australia destroyed many trees. Even in India, we come across various news on forest fire. So government must take care to protect forest fire. Owing to uncontrolled poaching is another problem. So poaching or hunting of animals must be banned so that we can preserve animals as well as the plants. To get a sustained yield of timber, sericulture is being practiced, means planting of commercial trees like teak trees or eucalyptus. To get a sustained yield or timber, sericulture is being practiced. These days, many farmers are also taking interest to plant some commercial trees. Next one, we shall discuss about India wildlife. Like flora or plants, India also is having rich in its fauna or animals. So it has we have more than 89,000 of animal species. The country has more than 1200 species of birds. India also has 2500 species of fish, which amount for nearly 12% of world stock. Okay. The elephants are most majestic animals among the mammals, and especially elephants are found in the forest of Assam, Karnataka and Kerala. Then one-horned rhinoceros are found in marshy lands of Assam and West Bengal. India is the only country in the world that has both tigers and lion. The natural habitat of the Indian lion is the Gir forest in Gujarat. Then tigers are found in the forest of Madhya Pradesh, the Sundarban deltas of West Bengal and Himalayan region. So leopards too are members of the cat family. They are also found in some parts of our country. Then Asiatic lion is found only in Gir forest. The Himalayan harbor a hardy range of animals which survive in extreme cold climate. Dear students, if we move towards the Himalayan region, we shall find some of the animals which have very different adaptability potential. They adapt with the extreme cold climate. Ladakh, freezing high altitude, are home to yaks. So these yaks can adapt themselves with the extreme cold places. Then Tibetan antelope, the Bharat, found in the Ladakh regions. In the rivers, lakes and coastal areas, turtles, crocodiles and gharials are found. Birds' life in India is very colorful. In India, we find different types of birds, and these birds add the beauty to the nature, like peacock, which is the national bird of our country, then pigeons, then ducks, parakeets, cranes, pigeons. All these are the different types of birds which add beauty to our nature. Okay. So dear students, in spite of having all this wildlife in India, it is very important to conserve our wildlife. Next one is conservation of wildlife. Dear students, as we got to know that our forest resources are being exploited by the human beings for establishment of cities and factories. So the animals, they are losing their natural habitat. So due to excessive exploitation of plants and animal resources by human beings, the ecosystem has been disturbed. When we destroy our forest and animals, our ecosystem is disturbed. About 1300 plant species are endangered. They are going to vanish. Already 20 types of species are vanished. Quite a few animal species are also endangered, and some have become extinct. So due to the exploitation of the nature by the human beings, different types of species and animals are on the verge of extinction. So the main cause for this major threat to nature is hunting of animals by the greedy hunters for commercial purposes. Dear students, hunters hunt wild animals for bone, skin, meat, and as a result, the number of wild animals are getting reduced. Okay, so the poaching or the hunting must be banned all over so that our ecosystem would remain balanced. To protect the flora and fauna, several steps have been taken by the government. Legal Protection Act has been provided to wild animals against hunting and commercial exploitation under the provisions of the Wildlife Protection Act 1972. Then financial and technical assistance is provided to the state government under the sponsored schemes of integrated development of wild habitats like Project Tiger and Project Elephant for providing better protection to the wildlife. So the central government as well as the state government together trying to established various integrated developmental programs for establishing Project Tiger and Project Elephant to protect these animals. The government has set up a number of national parks, as many as 89, then wildlife sanctuaries, as many as 490, then bird sanctuaries and biosphere reserves. We have 14 to preserve and protect the wildlife. A national park is a large area where several ecosystems exist freely. They are not disturbed by the human exploitation and occupation because it is a reserved and are meant for preserving natural vegetation, wildlife and natural beauty. No deforestation or commercialization of plant is allowed in the national park. Here the plants and animal species, geomorphologic sites and habitats for spatial scientific education and recreation are preserved. A wildlife sanctuary is almost like a national park, and special care is taken for the endangered species. So the Project Tiger was launched by Kailash Sankhala in India on 1st April 1973. It has become one of the most successful conservation ventures in modern history. Next one is objectives of Project Tiger. The Project Tiger aims at ensuring a viable population of Bengal tiger in their natural habitat. It aims at elimination of all forms of human exploitation and biotic disturbance from core area. It also aims at tiger conservation in especially constituted tiger reserves, which are geographical regions falling within India. Today there are 39 Project Tiger wildlife reserves in India with the aim to protect the tigers in their natural habitats. Next one is biosphere reserves in India. So protection of the animals and plants is among the important challenges being faced by the mankind. The 21st century must emerge as an age of conservation and protection if human being wants to survive the earth. Dear students, today it is a big challenge to protect our environment, to protect the plants and animals, because if they survive, then the earth will survive and we will survive. So, biosphere reserves happen to be protected regions of the terrestrial, marine and coastal environments for the conservation of the diversity of species and plants and animals. So, the biosphere reserves in India have been established with the aim to conserve the natural habitat of plants and animals such as national parks and sanctuaries. So, as part of the biosphere reserves in India, there are various national parks and sanctuaries in which the plants and animals have been protected. So, the government of India has identified as many as 18 biosphere reserves in our country with the aim to promote a balanced relationship between biosphere and humans, between the human beings and the nature. Okay. So further, the reserve also aim at conserving all forms of life and also supervising and evaluating the challenges in the ecosystem. So dear students, biosphere reserves in India aims at conserving all forms of life and supervising and evaluating various challenges faced by the human beings. Here are some of the endangered species. Endangered species of plants and animals are those which are so rare and they are likely to become extinct. The IUCN, that is International Union for Conservation of Nature, keeps a watch on the number of animals and published red data book with details of rarest animals and plants. So there is a red data book which gives details of the rare animals and plants. The exploitation of land and forest resources by humans along with hunting and trapping for food and sports has led to the extinction of many species in India in recent times. So dear students, there are some sports which are related to animals, and trapping animals or hunting for food. All these have become the major cause of the extinction of many species in India. So these species include mammals such as Indian or Asiatic cheetah, which are very few, then wild zebu, then Jivan rhinoceros and Sumatran rhinoceros. These animals have been already vanished. Okay. Some species of birds have gone extinct in recent times, including pink-headed duck and the Himalayan quail. These birds have already vanished. A species of warbler in Himachal Pradesh was rediscovered after 139 years in Thailand. Dear students, it is a high time for all of us to preserve our nature, because if we preserve our nature, nature will preserve our earth and we will survive in this earth. So dear students, try to watch this video and learn all the important points. Thank you.